In this video, I'm going to reveal some of my favorite wine recommendations from Australia and New Zealand. There's red wines, white wines, and a variety of wine styles, regions, and price points represented, so there should be something for everyone. And if you have any favorite wines from Australia and New Zealand, please let us know in the comments below. We're going to start out strong with a highly acclaimed wine from Margaret River that I found selling for as little as $29 a bottle in the United States. Margaret River is a fantastic region for the production of high-quality Cabernet Sauvignon, and 2022 was a very strong vintage in Margaret River. There wasn't that much fruit that was produced, but the fruit that was produced had impressive intensity and concentration. Xanadu is a consistently reliable producer, and their Cabernet Sauvignon is quite consistent from vintage to vintage. The 2022 Xanadu Cabernet Sauvignon is a blend that consists of 88% Cabernet Sauvignon, 8% Malbec, and 4% Petit Verdot. This wine was matured for 14 months in 40% New French Oak. This wine is generous with fine-grained tannins and descriptors that include blackcurrant, plum, tobacco, graphite, cedar, and mixed spice. This is wine that's already very enjoyable, but that will cruise in your cellar for up to 10 years or more. An absolute no-brainer at this price point. Next up is a highly regarded Australian white wine that also sells for as little as $30 per bottle. This is a wine that I've never featured on this channel before, so I'm definitely interested in hearing your thoughts about this one. Along with Eden Valley, Clare Valley is a fantastic source for high-quality Riesling in Australia. This is a wine that comes from certified organic fruit from a single vineyard that is planted at around 465 meters above sea level. The vines average around 24 years of age. This is the 2024 Adelina Wines Polish Hill River Smith Riesling. And make sure you get the Smith bottling, as the Smith single vineyard wine is a significant step up from their standard Polish Hill River Riesling. This wine features flavors and aromas of grapefruit, lemon, lime, ginger, flint, and sea spray. It has impressive concentration, abundant acidity, and a long finish. It comes in at 12.3% alcohol by volume. My new book, Napa Valley Decoded, is already a #1 bestseller and the top new release in wine. This is the book that I wish I had when I first got into Napa Valley many years ago. This book has quickly become a trusted resource for collectors, enthusiasts, and wine professionals. Whether you drink Napa Valley wines, are studying for a certification exam, or are visiting Napa Valley, this book will be an invaluable resource. To learn more, please be sure to check out the link in the description below. Next up is a wine that I never would have identified had it been served to me blind. This is a wine that comes from extremely old vines that are as old as 135 years. There's around 800 of these old vines in a small 1.2 hectare plot in the Barossa Valley. Yalumba uses the extremely complex fruit from these old vines to make an impressive Grenache called the Tri-Centennary Grenache. This was the first time I tried this wine, and it looks nothing like what you'd expect from a Barossa Grenache. It looks more like a Nebbiolo, as the color is extremely pale. This is so because the wine undergoes an extended, light extraction during fermentation. The results are impressive purity of fruit and an extraordinarily elegant wine with impressive acidity and freshness for a Grenache. Better still, this wine sells for around $60 per bottle, and that's certainly a very fair price to pay for a wine of this quality. I found that I'm definitely a fan of cool climate wines. There's something special about those wines in that they tend to be a little bit more elegant and have a bit more freshness and acidity than some wines that are produced from grapes that are grown in much warmer climates. One example is Tasmania. While I'm a big fan of wines from Tasmania, the problem is that there's not that many that are distributed internationally, and particularly very few that are available where I live. One notable exception comes from Tolpuddle. So the next wine that I'm buying in 2026 is the 2023 Tolpuddle Vineyard Pinot Noir from Tasmania, which sells for around $89 per bottle. This is a wine that's received tremendous critical acclaim. While Tolpuddle does a consistently excellent job year after year, I particularly enjoy the 2023 vintage. This is a wine with pronounced aromatic intensity, and it's extremely elegant with abundant acidity. Descriptors are very much red fruit focused, with cherry, raspberry, and pomegranate, but you'll also find descriptors such as violets, mixed herbs, and spice. This is a wine that comes in at 13.5% alcohol by volume, and it is a wine in a screw cap. So don't be surprised by that. That's extraordinarily common for Australian wines. A little more than a year ago, I visited Australia's Yarra Valley for the first time, and I came away extremely impressed with their cool climate, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. One problem, however, is that many of the excellent wines from Yarra Valley are not exported or distributed broadly at all. For the most part on this channel, I'll generally only recommend wines that are easy to obtain. But fortunately, one of my favorite wineries when I visited Yarra Valley is also a wine that is broadly distributed, namely Giant Steps. Giant Steps is a winery that was founded in Yarra Valley back in 1997 with an emphasis on single vineyard wines. This winery was named after the famous John Coltrane album, as the founder was a big jazz lover. One of the reasons I'm such a big fan of Giant Steps is that I really appreciate their non-interventionist approach to winemaking, which emphasizes the purity of the fruit. For example, they use all gravity flow in their winery, and they don't fine or filter their wines. While you can't go wrong with any of the Giant Steps wines, this next wine is a new addition to their lineup, specifically the 2024 Giant Steps Circle of Fifths Pinot Noir. 2024 was a classic vintage in Yarra Valley. This wine is a blend of fruit that comes from all of their single vineyards, most of which are located in the Upper Yarra. They use 40% whole bunches, which adds some intriguing aromas to this wine. You can expect flavors and aromas of wild black cherry, raspberry, violets, and mixed herbs and spice. I don't typically recommend New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc on this channel. That's not because it's not worth buying, but rather, most of that wine offers a pretty high floor, and it's hard to really get a bad one. So for the most part, I don't think people need my help with Sauvignon Blanc recommendations from New Zealand. But every once in a while, there's a particularly special wine that I think it's worth calling to your attention. So it is with this next wine, namely the 2024 Clos Henri Otira Glacial Stones Sauvignon Blanc. This is an extremely highly acclaimed wine. It's definitely a complex wine and a level up from the run-of-the-mill New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. This wine is produced by an iconic Sancerre producer, namely Domaine Henri Bourgeois. This is a mineral-driven wine with flavors and aromas that include lemon, grapefruit, lime, passion fruit, apples, marzipan, and ginger. Better still, this wine sells for an extremely reasonable $30 per bottle. So this is one I would definitely strongly recommend. Next, we'll head to a land down under for a classic Barossa Valley Shiraz that's ideally suited for those of you who prefer bold, robust reds. While this producer is known for making some intensely concentrated wines from old vines, this wine is actually a wine that's made from younger vines. While old vines can produce wines that are age-worthy and have tremendous complexity, younger vines can be perfectly suited for the production of fresh, lively, fruity wines that can be extremely enjoyable in their youth. And so it is with the 2024 Torbreck Woodcutter Shiraz. This is a wine that's a consistent performer year after year, so you don't need to worry too much about vintage variation with this wine. The fruit for this wine comes from low-yielding vineyards that are hand-harvested, and this wine matures for around 12 months in a mix of large oak casks and previously used large oak barrels. This wine is rich, generous, and full of flavor. In the glass, you can expect descriptors that include blueberry, plum, earth, mixed spice, and herbs. This is a wine you can enjoy immediately, but it will certainly last at least 5 years with no problem at all. Riesling continues to be one of the most underrated, undervalued, world-class grape varieties in the world of wine. So this next wine will be perfect for those of you who appreciate serious, dry Riesling. If anyone watching this video still believes that all Rieslings are sweet, that is not the case at all, and there's many outstanding examples of Riesling that are completely dry, such as this next top wine for $25 a bottle. This is the 2023 Pewsey Vale 1961 Blanc Riesling, which was well received by several major critics. As the name suggests, the fruit for this wine comes from a special parcel of old vines that was planted back in 1961, which is extremely old for Australian Riesling. This wine comes from Australia's Eden Valley, which is a cooler climate wine region that's known for the production of world-class Riesling. Better still, Pewsey Vale is one of the most historic high-quality producers from Eden Valley. This wine is an extraordinary value at around $25 per bottle. It's a mineral-driven wine that has bracing acidity and layered citrus flavors. When it's young, this is a wine that can be a little bit restrained, but I definitely recommend that you buy this wine in quantity and try to put away as many bottles as you can for an extended period of time. Last summer, I had the opportunity to try a number of different expressions of aged Riesling from Australia, and I was absolutely blown away. These wines gain tremendous complexity and become truly special with 10 to 15 years of additional age. This is a multi-regional blend of Shiraz. The multi-regional blend allows this producer to keep costs down and also make a consistent house style vintage after vintage. Both 2022 and 2023 should be available in retail channels, and you really can't go wrong with either one of those vintages, both of which were highly acclaimed. This wine has a dark fruit profile and savory notes. It's a big, robust wine that definitely benefits from a food pairing, particularly when it's young. The ABV is 14.5%. They mature this wine in American oak, and it has a slight rusticity. The oak influence is particularly apparent when this wine is young, so if you prefer more oak integration before you enjoy your wines, I would definitely put this wine away for a few years before you drink it. But the good news is this wine will cruise effortlessly in your cellar for 10 years or more, so there's certainly no rush to enjoy it. This is the Penfolds Bin 28 Shiraz. About a year and a half ago, I visited Australia for the first time. While I was there, I had some amazing wine experiences in several different outstanding Australian wine regions that I think don't get the attention that they deserve. If you'd like to learn more about that visit and the wines that I recommend from those regions, please be sure to watch this video that's linked above.